Welcome back. On RealCopStoriesVideos.com, we have 358 cop stories. Look them up. They're fun. 7 to 10 minutes depending on content. Foot pursuits, vice, gangs, crash, patrol, you name it, I've done it. It's in there. They're all my babies. And attached to that, we have 145 questions and answers. And if you want to ask me a question, I'll answer you. Okay? If you want to ask me a question, email me at rsbcopstories@gmail, excuse me, .com. And I've been answering you directly, one-to-one. And then we're doing it now on the videotape. So here's the next question coming up here.
Do teams or partners stay together long, and if so, how long?
Okay, I can only tell you about personal and some things I saw. I was pretty lucky because you find it when in any business, probably you'll find it, the people that are the most productive usually get the better assignments. I know in private practice you usually get bonuses and all that. Well, there's no bonuses where we work, but you get plum assignments and you get really good partners. And so I lucked out because I was, just ex-Marine, Vietnam vet, and I had a work ethic my dad gave me. So I just did what I was told and did it well. I did a lot of it. And so when I had about, maybe 2.5 years on, a year and a half out of the academy, then I knew most of the stuff I was doing. Well, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And so there was other officers that were also, like me, producing well, writing tickets, contacting suspects, going to radio calls, doing everything really well. That's about the top 10%. Remember, I told you I call that alphas. And then about 85 or 90% just do their job, okay? So the cream goes to the top. So I got teamed up with a guy, I told you earlier, big linebacker-looking guy, and we were together for a year, okay? It was amazing because to answer the question, you have personalities here. If you're going to sit in the car for 8 hours, you have to get along. So what happens is, political ideas, personal problems, somebody smells funny, somebody doesn't like somebody's attitude. So before I got this one linebacker, I'll call him linebacker guy, I was with 2 or 3 other partners. You get in the car and you wind up, he doesn't want to work, or he's lazy, or you don't want to work with somebody like that. Because I figured I had 20 years to do here. I don't want to do it doing this, waving at people, avoiding tickets, and people almost crashing into each other. You don't write a ticket. That's what tickets are for, is to cause the public to drive better. Sure, you get money, but I mean, it's to aware that maybe I shouldn't be lane changing or making right turns in front of cars. Maybe I shouldn't be, crossing over and stuff. So that's how you stop people from doing that. Or slow them down anyway. So you wind up getting lucky. So I got lucky. And a lot of guys work with multiple partners all the time. Okay, I lucked out with this one guy. And then I got in this will come out, this is another question we'll cover next time, but I got in we were working a heroin addict detail, chasing heroin addicts. And I jumped out of my car and hit my hand on the door frame, broke my finger, broke my 5th metacarpal here. So I was off for 3 months and worked the desk. And so my partner that I worked with went off with somebody else. He didn't like going with somebody else because we had been so well together for a year. And then somehow my name came up for the next assignment, and I was placed in a gang car with 2 other guys. These 2 other guys were top guys also. We wore suits, and we had those 3 of us. So 1 guy's off, and the 2 work, and then you rotate. Okay. We got out. There were 3. Since it is a gang car, and we work East LA, Latino. We're all Latin officers. We all speak Spanish, although those 2 spoke a lot better than I did. But I learned. Got along very well and did a really good job working together. Now that partnership was probably a little over a year also, which is a long time because like I said earlier, you have personality problems and you have ego problems and you have people trying to position. That's what causes you get frayed. And so the guys will work together for 2 or 3 days, and then the sergeants try to plug in and make partners. It's tough for the supervisor. I wound up this later on, but I became one, is to have the right mix. You want to have workers, and so they're trying to put a worker with a worker, or a worker with a little bit of a slacker, hoping that the slacker be pulled up, and usually it pulls the worker down. They found that out, and or the worker like me gets mad at the slacker and doesn't want to work with him anymore because I might as well be myself in here in the car, might as well. So that's what happened, and so these guys, the 2 gang guys, a little over a year together, okay, and then the gang unit became bigger, and so they got a lieutenant, they got more troops, and the lieutenant came in and was my first exposure to an a-hole lieutenant. He backstabbed people. People kissed his butt, and so when that happened, my 2 guys left for Vice, and so I'm down there working, with some of these people. And again, guys that are very good were part with me, and every time I worked with someone, we did a really good job together. But they're trying to do a mix and trying to plug the bad ones with the good ones and trying to, the guys that come in, it's not working out, they send them out of the unit, go someplace else, or bring another guy in. So the sergeants are constantly trying to match people up. And that's what's hard about the kind of work we do. This isn't like being in a cubicle in an office where you have 25 cubicles and nobody's talking to each other. That's easy. But when you have to sit in that car for 8 hours and do dangerous stuff together for 8 hours and go to robbery calls and shots fired in progress and all this stuff and roll around the lawn with a family dispute suspect because he beat up his wife, you want to have someone you can trust. So that makes it tough for guys to stay with partners a long time. In my division, I think I observed maybe 4 or 5 teams that stayed as long as 6, 8 months together. But sometimes people transfer. Sometimes they get in an altercation where they can't stand each other after working together for 2 months in the same car. It happens. So it's very rare to be able to have a partnership like that. And so as soon as those guys, gang guys went to Vice, there was another Vice opening. And so they went in there and told those supervisors, they pimped me for it. And ironically, one of the sergeants I worked for 2 years earlier on a 6 at night till 2 in the morning shift, and he ultimately got a Vice job. So we had the 2 partners, my ex-partners, and this Vice sergeant who I used to work for, all pestering the guy in charge that I need to come up and work Vice also. And all of a sudden I get a call out of the blue from the Vice supervisor, not the guy I work for, but the other guy. And he's basically asked me if I want to come work Vice. And I said, I don't know what to do. I got a call from somebody in homicide. And he goes, well, you've been pimped pretty good here. You've got 2 partners that work with you. They want you to come up here. And my associate here, you work for him for over a year. He wants you up here. And so I think you're the choice of the 220 guys that I choose from to come up here. And so I said, well, okay. I mean, I knew nothing about Vice. I didn't know where I was going. I was a young guy. I had 5 and a half years on. So I didn't know which way I was going. I thought, well, this is one job. I'll just see what happens. Well, here I go in there, and the 3 of us, along with one extra guy, 4 of us, 4 Vice cops, but 3 of us used to be old partners. We worked there for 18 months, which is unbelievable. So now I've got 18 months working there. I had a year working with those 2 guys. I mean, that's a long time. It's 2.5 years of the same partners. And to this day, when we see each other at retirements and stuff, we hug each other. We're not as close because we're distance-wise, geographically, we're not close to each other. But mentally, we bonded in those days. This is like 1974, and we're still here. 2018. We do have lunch together about once a year, as if we never left each other. We're talking about war stories, talking about what we used to do together, because we worked gangs together, Vice together, and the gang together assignment was very, very dangerous. We used to get out of our cars. We didn't have any hand radios. We get out of the radios were in the police cars. We wore suits. We get out of the police car, and we literally walk into the housing projects at night looking for gang members. We had our gun, we had a nightstick, and that's it. And the gang members knew that we meant business. We lined them up against the wall, and if anybody moved, I just took out my gun and just stood there. I said, go ahead. And they look over and see that, and because I told you before, gang members only come from an area of strength. That's why they prey on the weak. They prey on you, and they prey on some officers that are weak. Well, not me and my partner, man. They see me stand there with this, and if they turn on my partner, I'm going to shoot them. That's simple. We're outnumbered normally. We have no radio, so just me and Smith and Watson take care of business. Okay, and they knew that. So we had a lot of capers, foot pursuits in these projects, and these 2 other officers, gang officers and myself, very close at that time, very tight. Okay, took care of each other. Literally, now I don't sound like I'm trying to some kind of philosophical crap here. I depend on them for my lives, and they depended me on their lives. That was life on the line, big time. Nighttime projects, gang members, doesn't get any more worse than that, And so that's a long time with those guys. Okay, and then when I made detective later on, because we worked our 18 months there together, 16, 18 months, and then 2 of them promoted, and then I went back to patrol, and then I promoted. So you spread out, and you don't ever work with them again because you're all doing different assignments. But you go work other partners, and I worked with another partner for like 3 months, and then didn't work with him again because I went to another assignment. So it's kind of sad because you always feel like you want to get that camaraderie back. You want to find that one partner and hang out with, or 2 partners. And once you get higher up in rank and you work different assignments, it doesn't become that way. And then I wound up ultimately in a squad formation, a configuration, where there was 6 of us and a supervisor. And sure, we all worked together, but we weren't really partners. We were just 6 guys working as a unit, each of us doing different cases, not really depending on each other for our lives because we're we're narcotics now, and we're doing investigations and not really chasing people down alleys necessarily. We're doing search warrants and all kinds of different things. Little different way to go. So it's not as critical to be relying on a single guy for your life. We do search warrants once in a while, but there's so many of us that it's just a matter of, doing the group thing versus doing the individual thing. So to answer the question, some officers had a chance to, like myself and other partners, I'm sure they talk the same way, we're together a long time, which is really miraculous to be that length of time. Nowadays, they don't like to be together because it's a whole new mindset. They're afraid that officers stay together longer than 3 or 4 months. They're going to conspire to commit a crime or conspire to beat people. I don't understand that at all. We're all adults. We're all mature police officers. You're not going to conspire to beat anybody. Not conspire. Things happen in front of you, and they ignite and they spontaneously explode, and you just respond to it. And then some of these bean counters think there's something cynical involved, that you decided with your partner, we're going to jump out of this car and beat this guy for no apparent reason. This is not television. This is real life. You don't do any of that stuff. If it happens, it happens. But you don't conspire or plan or plot to hurt anybody. You just want to stop the fight. You normally don't start it. You have to stop it. I think I tell you how many times I don't think I ever started one. I don't think I ever did. I just had to finish it. And it's not good. People don't like you to put hands on them. People don't like you to violate their rights in the sense that they want to, not rights, but violate their movement. You put a hand on someone, forget it. Firemen don't touch anybody. Firemen don't restrict anything. You're actually restricting their movement, and you're going to put them in jail. People don't like that. Okay? And so you have to do what you have to do. So I'm getting off track there, but basically that's the answer to the question. That some officers were lucky to live long term. Some were not as lucky. I was very fortunate to have very good partners for the first 12, 13 years that I was on. So I hope that answered your question. All right? Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.